folks, we are joined by Farah Ismail. She's a dynamic founder, facilitator, executive coach, speaker, and author, driven by a vision to inspire and empower emerging leaders, especially women, to embrace their unique talents and lead with confidence. And drawing from her own transformative experiences, Farah embarked on an entrepreneurial journey with Interact Consulting. In fact, this is the second episode, which is part of TGV Courage Catalyst series, which was launched on March 1st. And every Saturday, for the 4 consecutive Saturdays, one part of this episode will be released, and you have tuned into second episode. And check out our last episode on taking the first steps. In case if you haven't already tuned in, of course, again these are all different topics, and you may tune in any sequence. You don't have to listen to the first episode to listen to the second, third, likewise. And as you prepare to delve into our conversation on our second topic today, crafting prosperity, building ethical and sustainable practices, it's an exciting twist. Let us tickle Farah's brain once again. And Farah, get ready for another rapid fire round of random words. I'm going to mention a different set of words today, and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response so that our audience get to know more about you on your personal side. If you are ready, let's get started.
I have my seatbelts fastened.
Awesome. Let's cruise in. Here comes the first bullet. Author.
Of my life.
Coach.
An external thought disruptor.
Purpose.
Unwavering commitment.
Dream.
Playing bigger.
Transformative experience.
Falling in love with disruption.
Goal.
Where my heart is.
Entrepreneurship.
Easy, but not simple.
Women empowerment.
Liberating.
Self-awareness.
The core, foundation.
Last one is mindset.
Your operating system.
Amazing. Thank you so much for participating in this rapid fire round. And we have one more with a different set of questions towards the end of the episode. And folks, welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable conversations that add value not only to your life, but also to your career. And folks, TGV is the world's only quadrilingual podcast, which is available in English, Hindi, Telugu, and Kannada, and soon to be launched in other major Indian languages. So thank you so much for tuning in. And Farah, welcome back to the Guiding Voice. And we are getting great response for Courage Catalyst series. How are you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. And I want to say I'm absolutely loving this creation. So thank you for having me on your podcast.
Most welcome, and let's get the ball rolling. And this time I would like to know deeper into the coaching practices and your coaching experience. So let's begin with your great coaching experience that you have had with your coach.
So one experience I have with my coach recently was talking about how do we impact with our writing, with the way we live. How do I impact my clients as well? And there was this really interesting distinction of thought versus thought. So it's so interesting that, we learn from others, but can you live a life where you're thought worthy? Just imagine if I am, focusing on my fitness and my clients get so inspired by that and they find it thought worthy. And so it was such a deep experience for me to think about how I share my value or share even on social media that is not on the surface level, but something that takes me at a space when I can inspire others to choose something which is thought worthy, So I found that concept really, really powerful because it helps me to open my world and my way of being in a way that I can choose to be thought worthy. And so that deepened the way I'm living today.
Loved it, Farah. Now let's flip the question. So share with us an amazing experience that you have had with your coachee.
One big distinction I love to bring is a distinction between expectations and agreements. And a lot of conversations have been around that. I believe that when we have a conversation at the start of our coaching conversation to distinguish this, how my coachee gets the most out of the coaching experience is powerful. Because expectations are cowardly, because I expect certain things from my client, certain things from my coach, certain things from my team. And that can be so disappointing. So the power of having that conversation, of looking at creating powerful agreements, which are very, very courageous, because agreements are something you can co-create and they're alive, you can change them. And that has been a game changer for one of my clients, especially because earlier she used to be very frustrated with the way her team would impact and work. But by shifting into moving away from expectations and choosing powerful agreements with her team, has changed the game for her.
That's great, Farah. And I love these kind of interactions that have between coach and coaches. In fact, people open up a lot and they are sharing a lot of their dreams, which is where magic happens. All right, now let's switch gear and talks about this ethical coaching. And I have come across many talks where you mentioned about this ethical coaching, right? So please elaborate or define what ethical coaching means to you.
So for me, ethics are absolutely the foundation of everything I do, especially in coaching, because that is the foundation of the relationship with my client. So I would say that for me, that is living in a way that really leads also to prosperity. By the way, so it's holding standards of coaching and demonstrating a commitment to integrity. So for me, that is everything has got to do with ethics. And I also wear multiple hats. So I'm a facilitator, I'm a consultant. So ethics becomes really important for me. You know, what role am I playing? Because without having that clarity, then I'm probably blurring the lines with who I'm being in that moment. So I guess that's important for my clients as well, and for the coaching profession.
Absolutely. And what inspired you to focus on these ethical and sustainable practices in your work? Many a times, what I see is once people get that certification, they're in hunt of money and they try to find as many clients as possible. And I've seen many people, I don't know if their credentials are also valid, but they're literally chasing money and chasing people. So you started focusing on this ethical and sustainable practices. I'm interested to know what inspired you to focus on this one.
You know, it's amazing when suddenly when they say the student is ready, the teacher arrives. And for me, that's what happened a year and a half ago when I experienced the number one prosperity school in the world. And I decided to commit myself into learning and going back to school. And I think the power of understanding that prosperity is absolutely key. However, how you create that business is not about, as you said, trying to increase your clients or increase how much you earn, but it's really about being truly in service of your clients. And so for me, living service and creating that from a space of showing up so powerfully for my profession and for changing the consciousness of the planet and elevating what coaching really means became a game changer for me. So I would say that really it's about ensuring that I stay in, yeah, do I stay in the ethics of this profession as well as find a way in which I can choose to create powerfully with being service, right? So that was the difference in how I stepped into choosing to create an ethical and a prosperous coaching practice.
Okay. Now let's take a step back and understand why people ignore or overlook ethics and also shed some light on the consequences.
So I might not really focus on why people ignore that, but I would say how important it is to distinguish that this is the game changer in not only the profession and what I'm doing. I believe that by respecting the privacy of my clients, maintaining confidentiality, and ensuring that I'm serving them powerfully, really helps me to stay ethical. I find that that is what has helped me really create and act ethically. So ignoring this, I think, has a lot of repercussions, not just in creating your own clients and your own business, but also what you're doing to the name of coaching. So I would say the first thing would be it erodes trust. And if you find that your business is growing and people actually see you for who you are, and that's really where it is that you uphold the trust and confidentiality of your clients and respect their boundaries. I feel those are important things in
Yeah.
this whole um, whole space of ethics.
I think in the long run, it is going to have some negative impact as such. So probably instead of just looking on short-term focus or short-term gains, we should be adapting ethics in everything that we do. It's not just about coaching, but the other day I went to a hospital and I was talking to a doctor, and I asked the doctor, like, sometimes people get us the medical test done even though it is not required, right? Because they get that particular commission. Likewise, I think it is going to have some negative consequences in future, and it is applicable to most professions. And no matter how much these universities are insisting on the ethical practice, but still I think it should come from within. But thank you for sharing your insights, especially with regard to the coaching aspects of it. And Farah, let's shift gears and talk about the journey of creating a prosperous business which aligns with one's own values, because aligning to values is also important, right?
Yeah, I love this especially this topic that we're talking about because it's a journey, right? And
Yeah.
so without beating yourself up for whatever we've done in our business in the past, it's all about how we're evolving in this journey. So for me, it's been a beautiful way of building everything. It used to be based on my journey was based on just people working with me, understanding how the impact I create, and of course, a lot of referral that happened. So I created it just that way. But for me, what has shifted is because I I committed to myself. I decided that I want to build a prosperous business. So I gave myself permission to say yes because I want to really serve and give back a lot more. So just open my heart to that. And accomplishing this requires a major shift in our approach. And so prior to discovering how I do this, I used to find ways to get better as a coach, or what can I learn more, how can I be more, how can I market myself, how can I be on social media. Those were all the activities that I focused on. But what's being busy is not progress.
Yeah.
And I found that it's important. One of the game changing ways in which I moved into this space is choosing to live service, right? Being service. So the approach that I've been bringing into my practice is really creating a service path, and that path of living service, which is just serving people powerfully and coming from that place of choosing that over everything else. So I would know how my business is doing if I look at my calendar. How many conversations do I have? Who am I serving powerfully?
Mm-hmm.
That's a game. It's also a service game that we've been playing for a while in my school, which has really opened my world and allowed me to see what's possible when you shift from I want to sell to I want to serve.
Got it. Now let's combine last two questions. So how do you balance profitability with ethics as well as sustainability?
I think that's a delicate thing, right? So we are constantly looking at being in that. It's a long game, right? So I think if you're in the long game, then the balance is important. So I would say that playing it boldly, serve is important. Serving without any attachment to what I'm trying to achieve or trying to get my clients to say yes. I find that when I'm in this process of building this business in this way, there are no winners or losers, right? It's simple. It's a long game I'm in. It's fearless service. It's profound, and the impact is especially on how I create that relationship with people who continue wanting to work with me and build the prosperity on many levels. So I find that the balance comes with experimenting, knowing that there are times I've been on a call when I was trying to be service and I ended up feeling like I was I had an agenda, and I instantly would feel it in my gut that I'm not actually being in integrity or what I'm here for. And so I just took a pause and say, can we redo this conversation, because I feel that we can do this again. So I find that it's about being honest with yourself and just choosing to clean it up if you find that you're losing the balance. But ultimately, you create the path, the service path to creating this balance, right? Between integrity, ethics, and prosperity.
Yeah. Okay, here comes my next one. What are some common challenges entrepreneurs face in this area, and how can they overcome?
I think the challenges that I could say I used to face as well as, and I have a few clients who are coaches and entrepreneurs now. The challenge is being in it for not for the long game. Like people want the success, but don't understand that it is a journey and it's not a destination. So who they become in that process is, what do I need to do? So the focus really moves into, what do I need? How can I do it? So I think it's shifting from how to's to what do I want to create here really helps you to anchor into who you want to be in this business, not what you want to do. So I find that when the focus shifts from the how to want to, uh, there can be a lot of powerful ways in which you can create in your business. So I would say that's the number one challenge, which is trying to look at how to, and not knowing that you have all the wisdom inside when you slow down and look at, what do
Yeah.
you want to create in your life? What do you want to create in your business? What does the next step look like? So I think it's really either taking time to coach yourself and or to speak with someone that helps you to see that path really clearly and to map that, which is not about this quick thing of somebody said no and so I get disappointed. So I would say a lot of the second thing is building your business or taking your path based on your feelings. And when you shift from that, when your feelings are not going to drive everything in your business, I find that you can be in the long game.
These are great actually. Though they sound simple but powerful. Like I can get
Yeah.
into the depth of it, and I'm trying to digest this and how impactful these will be in the long run, right? So that is very, very important, and it's a great learning experience for me. Let's move forward to the next question. So, share an example where these ethical and sustainable practices have significantly impacted a business of your client or anything that you have come across.
I remember this client very clearly. It was an Australian Indian social enterprise that I was serving. And when we started having a conversation, it was around, the stakeholders telling me about how the group really is, actually sharing all the things about the group. And I remember saying that I didn't need that information. So for me, I wanted to really stay in a way in which I could really, focus on the wisdom of the group I'm going to be serving. And so I stayed in neutrality and then invited the stakeholders to be part of this beautiful space in a way where they took off their hats. And I find that when I was coming from that very powerful space, the magic that we created was, simply amazing what the group was able to do and think together. So I believe that how I showed up in that conversation, the stakeholder conversation, changed the whole journey. And I would invite anyone who's listening to this to also see, how can you show up in a way that you uphold your integrity of the profession or the role that you're playing that can serve the client powerfully.
Wow, that's great. And thank you for sharing that. And Farah, it's time for us to add some more excitement and some more spice to the episode. If you're ready, let's kick off the second rapid fire round.
Ready?
Okay, here comes the first bullet. If you could teleport to any place in the world right now, where would you go?
I've been to Blackcomb Mountains in Vancouver. I want to go back there right now.
Okay. And if you could have any animal as a pet, mythical creatures included, what would it be?
I used to have a beautiful cat, and I love cats. And so I stopped having pets for a long time because I travel. I would continue having a cat as a pet.
Okay, fair enough. And if you could eliminate one chore or task from your life forever, what would it be?
Cooking! It's a waste of time. I'm going to be killed for that.
Okay, if you could have dinner with any historical figure, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Maya Angelou. I think she's so powerful. I love her poetry. I would love to sit with her and even talk about phenomenal women that she wrote. I'd love
Mhm.
to be inspired by her.
Yeah, good one. And what's your guilty pleasure that you enjoy the most?
Doing nothing.
Last one. If you were given a chance to act in a movie remake, which movie and character would you choose?
It's a reminder to watch some movies, but I don't know why I just thought of this Indian movie called Lagan. I would like to be Amar Khan in that.
Loved it. Yeah, that's an interesting character to portray. Wonderful. And let's flip back to the mainstream. What is your key message to the audience on crafting prosperity?
I think it's waking up to your true nature, to who you are. That's when we experience prosperity, and for life to be different, for your business to be different. I think it's important to learn differently. So I would say be honest, open, and willing, and then you'll realize that this is a mountain with no top. There's so much learning, and there are many layers to it. So I would say that there's no right way of creating prosperity, but my way is living service, being service, and there could be your way as well. So you will know you have found it when you have an expansive feeling and you have an open heartedness, tap into that intuition.
Amazing. Thank you. And again, simple yet powerful message. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation and looking forward to the next episode part of TGV Courage Catalyst series, which is organized to celebrate International Women's Day 2024. So thank you so much once again, Farah, for taking time out of your busy schedule and making it to it. And looking forward to our next interaction as part of third episode in the TGV Courage Catalyst series. Have a beautiful time ahead.
I loved it. Thank you, Naveen. Thank you. See you soon.
Yeah, all right. See you soon. And friends, that was our second episode part of TGV Courage Catalyst series with Farah Ismail. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. In case if you haven't already subscribed to the Guiding Voice podcast, please subscribe from wherever you have tuned in because subscribing keeps you updated on new episodes and you get notified. And if you have enjoyed the conversation and found it useful, please share with at least three of your friends or colleagues who would also like TGV, the guiding voice, so spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. Now, let's cruise into the trivia segment. Having had amazing conversation on ethical and sustainable practices in coaching, I thought I would present you few facts related to ethics in the professional world. And here comes the first one. Ethics as a competitive advantage. So, while many view ethics as a moral obligation, it's also increasingly recognized as a strategic business advantage. And companies with strong ethical standards often enjoy higher levels of trust from customers, leading to increased brand loyalty and positive word of mouth marketing. Additionally, ethical behavior can attract top talent as employees are more likely to want to work for organizations that align with their values. And second is about emerging role of ethical artificial intelligence. As artificial intelligence becomes more prevalent in decision making processes, the concept of ethical AI is gaining importance. And ethical AI focuses on ensuring that algorithms and automated systems are designed and programmed to make decisions that align with ethical principles such as fairness, transparency, and accountability. And this emerging field combines elements of computer science, philosophy, and ethics to address the ethical implications of AI technologies. And this is all I wanted to share from ethics perspective. But I'm not going to stop here. Here comes my question. So tell me about brands who have demonstrated great ethical practices while doing businesses. I would love to know more about them. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, you can comment there, or if you have found this episode on some social media platform, you can comment there as well. I'm going to review your comments. So, friends, that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in and also for being part of our awesome TGV family. We would love to hear from you and do not hesitate to share your ideas, feedback, topic recommendations, and also guest speaker suggestions either through social media or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also to your career. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you on the next episode with another amazing guest. And we'll also invite Farah for this third episode as part of TGV Courage Catalyst series.